Victorian Equal Opportunity and Human Rights Commission. This is Ornella speaking. How may I help you?
Hello, this is Timothy speaking. I just have a question regarding discrimination laws.
Yeah.
It's regarding gender identity.
Yep.
I just would like a definition of what gender identity actually means.
With regards to what?
Just in general, like, what does gender identity actually mean? Because I've tried to make sense of this concept and it just seems completely meaningless. It doesn't seem to mean anything, so I don't know how I can respect somebody on the basis of gender identity when it doesn't actually mean anything. That's what I'm saying.
Well, gender identity means that people are free to express themselves however they choose to. Be that as female, male, non-binary, whatever is their authentic self, that's how they have a right to express themselves in that way.
What does that actually mean? Because, I mean, you're using the words there, male and female. They're words which we use to describe sex. We're not talking about sex, are we? Gender identity is different than sex, isn't it?
No, because sex is so sex characteristics are what are referred to. What's given? What?
So that's about biology, isn't it? That's our chromosomes and our genitals and such.
Yeah, that's it. Whereas gender identity is how somebody chooses to see themselves and express themselves to the world.
What does that actually mean? Because
that may not necessarily be the same as the genitals that they're born with.
Well, I am a male in the sense of biological sex. I was born with a penis. I am a male. But what would it actually mean if I were to tell you that I had a female gender identity? What would that mean?
Well, that could mean whatever you want it to mean. It could mean several things. That it's not for me to put labels or classifications on you. That would be for you to choose or decide what you want.
But that's how language works.
How you want to express yourself. No, that's not how language works, because language is rudimentary, and that's why the Equal Opportunity Acts exist, to help support people.
Language is there to convey meaning. Our words have to have agreed upon meaning, otherwise it's just gibberish. If I was to tell you I identify as a gobbledygook, you've got nothing you can make of that. It doesn't mean anything to you unless I am to come out and clarify and say, yeah, no, a gobbledygook is a person who always wears black clothing or whatever, and then you can say either, yeah, he is what he refers to as a gobbledygook, or no, he isn't what he refers to as a gobbledygook. Likewise, if somebody is to come up to me and say, I have a female gender identity, I don't know what to make of that. They haven't told me what it is. We need agreed upon meanings of these terms, and there is no agreed upon meaning on what a female gender identity actually even is. If I was to tell you that I had a non-binary gender identity, what would you make of that? What would that actually mean?
Well, that would mean that you choose to identify however you identify. Some days that may mean that you feel more feminine, other days that may mean that you feel more masculine, or it may just mean that you reject societal notions of gender, full stop. You may still identify as a woman, but you may just reject social classifications.
You use the terms there, masculine and feminine. I understand what those terms mean.
Yeah, but you've got to understand these are terms that were made up by white men like 200 years ago that societies stuck with, but lots of different cultures in lots of different places around the world have different understandings and different meanings for different things.
I understand that, back in Roman times, men had long hair. these days long hair is more associated with females, so it's more of a feminine thing now, but back then it wasn't. Is that what you're saying there?
That's not what I was saying at all, no.
Well, sorry, I'm a little bit lost. Are you saying that the gender identity refers to...
Timothy, do you have an actual question?
Yeah, the question is, what does
with
gender
regards...
identity mean? I want to know what it means.
I've given you a definition of what it is.
Well, can you repeat that back?
And
could you repeat that back, please?
Look, I'll give you an exact... Let me go to the page and I'll give you an exact definition.
Can I just ask you this question? Is a female, a person with a female sex, she's born with a vagina, but she displays really masculine characteristics, i.e. she's got short hair, she's wearing male's clothing, she works as a mechanic, she loves sports, all the, those masculine activities which we associate with men. Does she have a male gender identity? Like do butch lesbians have male gender identities because they're masculine, or is... But
who's to say that all those things make her a lesbian? She could just be,
Well, I'm speaking
good with her hands, fond of sport. What you're saying doesn't even make sense because you're putting people into boxes when they... Yeah, but your hypothetical speak is googly gargly, as you said.
No, it's not. Right, you know what a butch lesbian is, don't you?
I know what yeah. Anyway,
a butch lesbian, like a lesbian, a female, somebody who's born a female with a female sex, with a vagina. She's sexually attracted to other women, but she displays masculine characteristics. I.e., she's got short hair, she's wearing men's clothing, she works as a mechanic. Masculine things. She's a female, she's a lesbian, and she displays masculine characteristics. She's a butch lesbian. You know what a butch lesbian is? Well, I'm just asking, does a butch lesbian have a male gender identity? I'm wondering if gender identity is in relation to the...
Timothy, I don't agree with your view of the world, and I don't appreciate the way in which you're speaking about certain people.
I'm asking a question. I'm not making any judgments at all. I'm asking a question.
But you are, because you're making judgments about people who are women who are mechanics, or women who like sport, or women who have short hair. That's a judgment.
What judgments have I made about them?
That they're butch lesbians.
Well, again, some of them might not be lesbians, but I'm talking about a woman who's displaying masculine characteristics. That's to acknowledge the fact that there are women who display masculine characteristics.
Timothy, other than wanting to have a debate about the definition of gender,
this is your job.
Identity.
You work at the Human Rights Commission. I want the definition.
Do you want any... No, but do you want any actual information with regards to the Equal Opportunity Act?
I want to know what gender identity actually means. Does gender identity refer to a person's degree of masculine or feminine qualities, or does it refer to something else? That's a pretty simple question.
And I've told you, gender identity refers to the identity that a person chooses to express. Some people don't choose to identify in terms of masculine or feminine, and that's okay. And you have, under the law, you have to respect that and understand that.
But I can't understand it because you're not clarifying it to me. Let's say another person joins into the conversation right now, and this person says, I have a female's gender identity. What are you and me to make of that person? What are they actually telling us? Are they conveying any information at all? Hello, are you there?
They're conveying what they choose to convey.
What does that mean?
It's not for other people to make judgments or put labels on other people. It's people's choices, how they want to express themselves and feel about themselves and how they want to live their lives. It's not for other people to have a say on that or judge that.
But I'm asking, what do they mean?
And if anything, it says something, if people do, it says something about that person's insecurities or potential, issues within that person.
If I were to tell you that I have a female gender identity, I'm a male, I've got a penis. If I was to tell you I have a female gender identity, what would that mean to you? What information would I be conveying to you?
You would be conveying that you choose to identify as a female.
Yeah, but what does that mean?
Well, that means whatever you want it to mean. It could simply mean that you.
So it's no different. It's no different than if I was to say I identify as a gobbledygook. Is there a difference between the statement I identify with a female gender or I identify as a gobbledygook? It seems they both require you to say what the hell do you actually mean by that? You're speaking gibberish. It doesn't seem to convey any actual meaning at all.
Timothy, you're being very rude and disrespectful in terms of other people and how they wish to live their lives.
I'm asking for clarification on what is meant.
And I've given you that clarification, and it's an ambiguous...
That's not a coherent definition.
Well, maybe there is no actual definition of it because it's ambiguous...
Why are we using words that don't have a definition? If a word doesn't have an
Timothy, I've given you all the information I can give you.
A real word. A word needs to have a agreed upon meaning for us to have a conversation. If I was to just start going, that means nothing to you because you don't know what it means. It might mean something to me, but it means nothing to you because we haven't agreed upon what it means. For us to have a real conversation, we need to agree on terms and their meanings. And nobody can even give a definition on what gender identity is. And you can't either, and you know it, and you're playing silly little games. So
okay.
I ask my question one more time. If I was to inform you that I have a female gender identity, what would that mean to you?
I would say good for you. Celebrate it.
But what would it mean to you? What would we be celebrating? What would we be celebrating?
It wouldn't mean anything to me because I don't know you.
Well, that's it. That's my whole point, isn't it? It wouldn't mean anything to you. That is my whole point. It doesn't mean anything.
Okay, well, you've gotten to your point. Is there anything else you need today?
That is all. You have a nice day.
All right, you too, Timothy. See ya.